All right, Bang. Today is Monday. It is April 29th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Snake Draft Monday on Zoom. We are joined by who many would say is Clash of the Titans Part 2. We have Rico, Bosco. We have Clem on a non-food draft.
Watch out, boys. The belly can't guide me through the... I win the chocolate draft, and all of a sudden we're going back to the regular drafts. I see how it is.
Yep.
I see how it is. Chief wanted to have a whole fucking peanut butter cup draft. Fucking guy is a Justin's peanut butter cup guy and tries to take Reese's. We'll just get this out of... We'll clear the air right now. Didn't appreciate that.
Hey, Clem, did you know that the Reese's shape candies, the eggs, the trees, they actually have a different type of peanut butter in them?
Really?
Yeah, so probably should have been allowed to take one of the shapes.
Yeah, he got that fact from Yanni Pistolis or some other Barada game loser.
Fake news producers.
No,
yeah,
it's
Chief,
not. It's
you're
not
also
fake news.
you're also the Justin's peanut butter cup guy. So I would die before I let you get Reese's on the graphic. I would literally die.
Tell him. I know that's a fact that eats Chief alive more than almost anything.
It does. It does. I can't deny it, but I feel like we got like Stalin and Molotov over here. Like every time Clem comes on, it's just a hype up Eddie a little bit more. Team ZD.
Eddie, when you said that line about the Snickers Nutcracker, you had that in the holster ready to go. That was one of the more impressive veto facts I've ever seen in my life. He was ready to rock. But it's good to see you fellas again.
I don't feel that way. I don't think it is good to see you. First time I've ever thought that.
I was talking to the other two guys in Chicago and Rico. I wasn't talking to you,
Okay,
Chief.
all right.
Bosco, good to have you back. I feel like it's been a little bit. Am I right on that?
Did we lose?
It's been a little bit. Yeah, I feel like I don't remember the last one I did. But
Maybe the one with Jack Mac. We did
these.
Sports Traditions. Maybe was that January?
I think that was a while. Yeah, Sports Traditions, and I got absolutely hosed on the fucking draft with that. I mean, the Super Bowl is a tradition.
That's right.
Super Bowl Sunday is a tradition.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I stand by it.
Oh man, just open wounds every time we do this show. But yeah, today, since it's baseball season, we're gonna be doing basically we'll call it the ultimate baseball draft.
You're like building a team of like core components.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to lay out the list?
So the list is you get a slugger, you get a leadoff hitter, which I think will be pretty loose with. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, leadoff player.
Yeah.
A starting pitcher, a closing pitcher, and a manager.
I will say, I said this before the draft of these guys. I feel like the leadoff hitter, he's like a littler guy, speed, get on the bases, go first or third, maybe steal second. I miss when every team used to have a guy like that. I thought that made baseball more exciting. Now it's just like, let's see if we can have someone up there get more walks.
Like Pedroia.
Was he a leadoff?
I thought he was a 2.
I thought he was a 2. I'm thinking
a 2?
I'm thinking like Juan Pierre, like those types of guys. Yeah.
Yes.
And to be honest, another key component for that is just a pain in the ass, which as us Mets fans, our one good year per decade, 22, Brandon Nimmo really produced in that spot, and he would grind out like 10 pitch at bats. And then if you walked him, he'd run to first, which pissed off the opposing team. You're right, Chief. It does make baseball more fun. Yeah. Now, those scumbags in Philly have Kyle Schwarber batting leadoff. He's a goddamn slugger.
That's not right. That's not right. And I don't care what his on base percentage is.
Yeah, like when the Cubs would lead off with Rizzo, it was like,
Yeah. Well, they used to go Rizzo Bryant.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys should be 3-4.
It always relates back to Little League with this stupid rule everybody bats. If you're not batting your best player 1 in this 12-man lineup, you are a fool in Little League.
Yeah, you got to have more at-bats for your best guys.
Yep.
I remember when Bonds was on top of the world, they used to make that argument where it's like he'd have an extra 40 at-bats if they would just hit him leadoff.
Yeah, with nobody on base.
Just saying.
Little League matters, though, because it's 6 innings. You got to get those guys up.
Yep.
And then you'd have so many times where there'd be 2 on and fucking Rob Nen would come to the plate, the 9-hitter, and he'd fucking whiff out, and then Bonds would lead off with, terrible.
We're tipping a lot of picks today.
Yeah, you let it off with Pedroia, pal. No pun intended.
I didn't think Pedroia was going to get picked, and he was as it turns out, he's a 2-hitter.
I didn't think Bonds was going to get picked.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to get Bonds in the 5th.
I'm going to take Rob Nen.
I intentionally said Juan Pierre because I didn't think he would get drafted, but that type
Rob
of guy.
Nen was on. I mean, they're all on my board.
Rob Nen.
It's because we like the nerds in the sport. This is when baseball was at its best. Is when you had closers. These guys would be pitching the seventh inning now.
Dude,
Billy Bean ruined baseball.
I don't even think guys dip anymore.
A lot of times they don't.
Nah, it's fucking
Like,
sad. I used to love seeing a manager with like a huge chaw in.
You guys see the Naked Gun where they like even the wives in the stands had just big ass chaws in and they're just spitting everywhere. Like that, they don't dip anymore.
That's Americana.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
What happened? This is the Mark Jackson. What happened to the game? This game I loved
Yeah.
kind of meme going on right now. So we're gonna have a fucking good old school baseball team. I think here.
Good.
It's so wild you could point to like one thing with all of these leagues where things started going downhill. I hope the NFL never gets there. And maybe hockey hasn't gotten there either.
Hockey, they need to bring violence back a little bit more. That's why I love that Rempe
Yeah,
with the
they
Rangers, where he just is like, "Oh, I'm just here to beat the fuck out of people, and if I score one bounces off my ass, that's a bonus."
Yeah.
When the NFL was able to overcome the concussion issue by just not giving a fuck about it, I was like, they're never going to go down there. It's too big to fail. All right?
Like, we're gonna be playing flag. No, let's just wait a year. Everyone will forget.
Like we're all
Yes.
preparing to get mad at this drop tackle rule.
I am mad about that.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are.
Will Compton.
Valid. But like, we're not going to do anything about it.
And I have a prediction that they won't call one of those beyond like week 3.
Yeah, that always happens too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just forget about it.
Yeah.
I have a conspiracy theory on this. It's not even to like make the game safer. They'll call a couple just to like throw it. It's going to be the fines in the middle of the week when the players will be like, I don't want to get fined anymore. And that's why they're going to stop doing it. Not because of what happens in the field. Because then us fans get hit where the player getting fined, he's the only one who gets fucked. He's be like, I'm not going to tackle these guys like this anymore. So that's how I think it's going to end up happening. It's going to be the fines. And then that money goes where? Back to the NFL. Fucking Goodell.
Fucking
Scumbag.
god damn it.
Scumbo. All right, we could do the order. Clem. Lance has 1 through 5 behind his back. What number is it?
We're going to go number 2, Dustin Pedroia
No.
in the lineup.
Bosco.
3.
No.
Chief.
1.
No.
David.
4.
Yep.
I'll go third.
All right, 1 through 4 to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 4.
No.
Clem.
2.
No.
I just said 2.
Bosco.
3.
No.
Chief.
He wasn't.
1.
Yeah.
What was it?
Correct.
It was 1.
I'll go first overall.
Ooh.
I think there's a 1-1 out there, bro.
1 through 3 to me. Say 3, Lance.
Yep.
Let's fucking go. I'll go 2. 1 or 2, Clem.
1.
Yep.
Let's see. 1, 2. I'll go 4.
All right.
So what do I got? The wraparound?
Yeah, you got
5?
the wrap. You got the snake, yeah. All right, so the order is Chief, Eddie, White Sox, Dave, Clem, Rico.
All right, but before we get started in the draft, I got to talk to you guys about the number 1 ticket app there is. You know what it is by now. It's Game Time. Dave, I know you're not ready for this, but it is in my brain. The ivy's green. It is now baseball season. The weather has turned. That first Friday with nice weather at 120 in Wrigley Field, you can get in this coming Friday, May 3rd, for $20.
$20.
$20 on the Game Time app.
You can beat that, I would say. Just 8 miles south, you could probably get in for free with Game Time. I don't know if that's official yet.
The lowest price they have as of right now for the next game is $7. I'm guessing it'll go down. That's the
For
thing
some
about
reason,
Game
I think
Time.
7's just like the threshold number that they throw out there. Like, all right, it's basically free, but give us $7.
But like that is the thing about Game Time. If I usually the way I do it is I wait to see if we have nice weather with the Cubs, and then I just last minute, then I walk over to Wrigley. It's the best. So
Well,
the price last second price drop.
Even though I do hate my baseball team, I am using Game Time. Not this Friday, a week from this Friday, I'll be going to see the Teskey brothers at Salt Shed with Uncle Chaps.
Nice.
So it's not just limited to baseball or sports.
everything.
You got theater, you got concerts, you got you name it. Game Time has it.
I'm gonna go see OAR at Ravinia too. That's in August.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see.
Yeah, we're definitely doing
Mark
that.
and the
All
boys.
thanks to Game Time. So, take out the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DOGWALK for $20 off your first purchase. I said that Cubs ticket was $20. You're basically getting in for free. So terms do apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. GameTime.co. So check it out.
All right, without further ado, Chief, the MLB ultimate team.
I'm taking my favorite baseball player of all time. I'm taking Ichiro Suzuki. Unbelievable outfielder. Guy, he to me, like that's what baseball is. He's absolutely perfect. Contact guy, gets on base, steals second, steals third. He was electric to watch. Had power, just opted not to use it. They would say like he was like the best batting practice home run guy on the team, but just like he was like, no, I'm only hitting it through the hole today. I'm only hitting it, he could place the ball. He was a freak of nature. I loved watching Ichiro, and I think he is the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. I'm taking Ichiro.
I love him too. I think it's a bad 1-1.
I think this is the thinnest position for true leadoff guys.
I would disagree with that greatly.
Well, you know more about baseball than me, so I'll give that to you. But
I love Ichiro though.
I think you got the best guy, but I think you got the best strong safety. Like you went.
No,
I agree with Rico.
It is thin, and he is a leadoff hitter. He is a leadoff hitter in every sense of the way. The crazy thing they said during batting practice, he used to hit the most home runs.
Yeah.
Welcome to the conversation. Didn't I say that?
You did. Yeah, I know. That's he used to hit them all.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's still the craziest part. Proving your point. That's the craziest part.
I also love that he's a natural. He was like a natural right-handed hitter. His dad, when he was a kid, made him bat lefty, so he'd be one step closer to first base.
And he would get that running start. But like on top of that running start, he was the fastest guy on the field at all times. He could fucking fly. I loved watching him play, and it is a lost art. One of the best hitters in baseball history.
One of the best athletes in baseball history.
That first throw, I think it was the first inning of the first game of the season against the Oakland A's when probably Eric Chavez was at third base. He put the ball right in his mitt like he was 2 feet away, and it was on a line. Didn't get more than 5-7 feet off the ground all the way from right field to third. I'm like, this guy's got the best arm I've ever seen.
Yeah. I think if he had played his whole career in the majors, he would go down as maybe the best player who ever lived. He's right. He would be right there. He'd be up there with all the all-time hits records and all.
I mean, the hits, but
I
mean, let's pump the brakes on best ever.
You don't think he'd be in that conversation?
No.
Okay, we'll circle back.
I don't love this 1-1. I think Ichiro could definitely be argued for a first rounder, but 1-1 seems.
I think that if you're building a team, I think there's two. Like when you think leadoff hitters, there's two.
He's getting on base.
He wasn't a walk guy. He had his average carry him, which is awesome. He didn't rely on a good eye.
And he also did all of this in the era that was Moneyball was taking over. You're kind of getting away from players like him. He was his own guy. He did it his own way. Everybody was on steroids in that era. He's never been linked to anything, not even remotely close. So clean, just did everything the right. He is my favorite player of all time.
I'm going to back Chief up on this. Has to be his favorite player of all time because saying Ichiro would be the greatest player of all time.
Yeah,
let me pull up his all time.
That's outrageous. How many? All right, this is what I want the listeners to do. If you're at home, I want you to pull up Baseball Reference and you go to all these pages with us because I love baseball. How many batting titles do you think Ichiro won in the bigs?
I have someone else pulled up right now. I'm gonna guess he played from 2001 to 2019. So what is that? 18 total seasons. I'm gonna guess 4. His rookie year, he hit
he was the MVP his rookie year.
He hit 350 at 370 one year. He was flirting with 400 for a lot of it. I'm going to say 4.
So the answer here, he led the league in batting average twice, which I thought was lower than I expected.
Yeah.
He hit 372 one year.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
The fact that he won Rookie of the Year and MVP is one of the cool fun facts of all time, and you're just like, holy shit, this dude is for real. He's awesome. Like you said, he could hit. He had for power if he wanted to in batting practice. He had the arm, and just to name Ichiro, it's not easy to change. I remember when they're like, "Oh, we just want to go Ichiro," and all this Americans like, "What the fuck is this guy's deal?" It's like by the end of the year, everyone called him Ichiro. It's like Mr. Ichiro, sir.
He had his first name. He came into Biggs at 27. If he had 6 more years in his prime, if he came in
that'd
at
have been
21,
200 some hits a year. What do you end up with? 3,100 or so.
right, a little bit shy of that, 3,089. I don't know what he did in
30.
Japan.
So that would have been about 43. And what's the record? 42.56.
Yeah, something like.
I think it's 42. He would have been
Yeah.
right there for Pete Rose.
Yeah.
The record.
Yeah,
He would have broken it. He would have absolutely broken it.
9 years in a row.
He would have absolutely broken it because he had like his rookie year. I want to say 250 hits.
242.
Yeah.
His 04 year, which it was his highest batting average. He hit 372 that year at 262 hits.
That's fucking so. Call it. He would have had the all time, and I still consider him the all time hit leader. Kinda.
Yeah. Stole
200 hits, 10 seasons in a row.
It's fucking insane.
You don't see guys have 200 hits anymore.
No, I know.
At 37 and 37 and 30. At 37 years old, he had 184 hits.
Yep.
At 38, he had 178.
Guy was a unicorn.
Pretty good.
Jesus Christ.
Freak.
Led the league in hits, average, and stolen bases his rookie year. Was MVP year.
And
obviously,
there's
as well.
videos of him. It might be for the World Baseball Classic or some other international tournament. He'd get on a mound, he'd run it up mid-90s, nasty cutter, slider, whatever he was throwing.
He had a fucking hose. Yeah.
Hose. I loved
He was great.
Strikeouts.
He was great to watch.
Most strikeouts in his season was how many?
I'm gonna guess 37.
No.
Nah, 86.
86.
Okay.
When he was 36 years old.
But never struck out more than 100 times.
All right.
This draft is going to be the dudes can literally just sit around and name old sports players and just have the best time.
I love it.
We're going to be doing it now, boys.
Yeah.
It's an honor to
Ed's
be
being a little
Eeyore.
Eeyore
Best
today because the
sports.
Bears are good finally, and he
He
wants
doesn't know how to live.
Yeah.
Now I'm being an Eeyore because Dave's an absolute mush and is just going to ruin everything good we have. I'm up. It's Barry Bonds.
Yeah, that was no one calling Ichiro the best ever when you have Barry Bonds. That was an insane statement.
All right. That was an insane statement. I'd like to walk that back. Ichiro did it clean. We'll say that.
It's Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
We look at like the Cy Young numbers and the Nolan Ryan numbers, and of course, like those will probably always be laughable because they're so crazy.
Yeah.
But like Barry Bonds is the
They'd
same
walk
way.
Barry Bonds intentionally with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
It was preposterous.
That was,
his, what was it? 02 to when was his? Hey, let's all go to Baseball Reference.
Yeah,
His
let's
absolute
do it.
prime.
This is one of the two pages. Barry Bonds' Baseball Reference and the 2001 Miami Hurricanes Wikipedia. I just laugh. I just cackle. You just look at all the bull that shows up on this page. It's fucking silly.
Baseball Reference listing Bonds at 6'1", 185. Was that like his rookie year?
And it's one of those things too where you will just forever have that image in your head of a live cut-in, Barry Bonds
Yep.
at the plate, just a quick twitch, boom, McCovey Cove. It's just
Yeah.
That
And like
little-
seared
that little-
into your
you
brain.
could not make a mistake.
No.
He
Could
had
not make
230. The guy had 232 walks in 2004,
And
and still hit for 45 homers and 101 RBIs.
And I know everybody says it, but like even if he retired in 2000 before he hit 49 in 2000. Even if let's say
he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he was like from 80
First ballot.
Yeah. He had 3 MVPs before he started juicing. Then he won 4 more.
Which makes him an asshole.
Yeah. Well, have you heard the story about that? That it was like the Sosa McGuire stuff when they were getting all the praise. They saved baseball. They're just hitting bombs everywhere. And he's like, dude, if I did steroids, I'd murder these guys. And he's like, I'm going to try steroids. And then he did. And he was like, you could not get him out.
Yeah, he was
Crazy.
truly remarkable.
he got on
to
base
watch.
at a 609 clip in 2000.
He won the MVP 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Seven total.
Fucking absurd.
So he almost won it 4 times in a row twice because in 91 he finished second. And he won it in 90,
Yeah.
92, and 93.
Well, no. So then he almost won it 4 in a row, and he almost won it 5 in a row because he finished in 2000. He finished second.
Yeah.
He had a bad season. He had 49 homers,
49 bombs that
106
year.
RBIs, 117 walks, and he hit for 306.
Do you know?
And I don't it was Terry Pendleton was one year, Jeff Kent was the other year, and I imagine he got it because he's a prick. Like, this is the baseball writers voting on it, and they're like, fuck Barry. He probably would have won it all those years, right? If he was like a decent guy.
Yeah, and like, how much did Jeff Kent benefit from having Barry Bonds hit behind him in the lineup? Yeah, and so Jeff Kent that year, he was the MVP that year. He hit 334 with 33 bombs and 100. Like, Jeff Kent was awesome too, but Bonds, like, he benefited from Bonds.
Bonds only led the league in home runs twice, which I know he wasn't a home run like hitter like that early in his career when he was like a toothpick, but that is still just like a crazy thing. Like with Ichiro,
he won 8 Gold Gloves. The guy won 8 Gold Gloves.
I mean, he also hit in that MVP year '93. He hit 46. Jeez. Like, that's fucking crazy too.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
White Sox, Dave.
I'm gonna go with the greatest leadoff hitter ever. I'm gonna go with Ricky Henderson.
That to me are the only two. Those are like the two elite leadoff guys, and there's a huge gap after those.
Yeah, but I'm building a roster here.
So am I.
Like, I'm building a roster here. I got Barry Bonds. I could pick. I have pin the tail on the donkey right now and get a leadoff hitter.
I feel that about sluggers. I feel like there's a bigger drop off after the leadoff hitters than there is from the sluggers. In general, like, you can get a slugger, not to tip strategy. You can get a slugger in the 5th round.
I got a great 90s, 2000s leadoff hitter that I'd like. He's not as legendary as Ricky Henderson or Ichiro.
Exactly. Thank you.
But it's okay.
If you want to compare, contrast the two, just off the like baseline stats, Ichiro had a 60 career WAR, 355 career on base, a 402 slugging, and a 757 OPS. Ricky Henderson, on the flip side, had an 820 OPS, 50 points higher, 297 career bombs. I don't have Ichiro's pulled up. Lower batting average, but stolen bases, mops the floor with them. He had power. He had speed. He is one of the all-time great offensive players in the history of baseball.
Also,
you could probably argue number 2 behind Bonds. That's how good of an offensive player Ricky Henderson was.
Ricky Henderson,
I would say that. Yep.
Ricky Henderson, I want to get this right. When he was he stole at 40 years old. Let's say 39 years old. 39, he's playing for Oakland. He had 66 stolen bases. 1998.
That's wrong.
Prime Ricky Henderson with these baseball rules where it has like Acuna stealing 70, he might steal like 300 bases. Honestly, I don't even know how many times he got on base.
The bigger bases and shit, fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And so I don't know if you guys agree with this, but when I make my team, as much it's baseball, 162 games. It's as much about the characters on your team or kind of just the shit in the locker room. I'm not saying Bonds being a prick is a bad thing, like for Eddie's board. Having Ricky in the fucking clubhouse is good.
You
just
need
Ricky
a guy
stories.
that talks in the third person.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he has so many like legendary stories. Where
the best one of all, though, as it turned out to be, was fake. Have you ever heard the John Olerud story?
Is that the 10-year?
No.
John Olerud, he walks up to John Olerud, and he's like, "Yo, man, what's with the helmet?" And Olerud's like, "Well, I got hit in the head. If I get hit in the head again, like, it's really bad." He goes, "Oh, I played with a guy like that in Toronto." And he goes, Yeah, Ricky, that was me.
Yeah.
As it turns out, the story was fake, and they ran with it. Like, Olerud never debunked it, and Ricky never debunked it because he knew it was, like, just so big. And then years later, they finally were like, yeah, that didn't happen. But that, for years was the story. But, yeah, the 10-year, he also, he didn't frame his, the accounting department had to come after him because he framed his first $1 million check.
He never cashed it.
He never cashed it. He framed it. He would stand naked in the mirror and be like, Ricky is Ricky. Like, it was unbelievable. You could read those stories forever.
Yep. All right, Clem, you're up.
Awesome. I fucking love Ricky Henderson, man. He might be my favorite baseball player.
Great
of all time.
Met, too.
I wish I remembered more.
Underrated, great Met.
Yeah, like I only remember him on like the Red Sox and like at the end.
Yeah, I remember the tail end of. He
well,
played
probably because
well into the 2000s.
Probably because he broke into the majors in 1979.
He played across 4 decades,
79 to 03.
Yeah.
So I actually think you can make a case that Bonds is by far on his own tier and Slugger, but I don't the thing is, we lived it. It was the most impressive athlete I've ever seen. Barry Bonds juicing and hitting home runs. If you're gonna say, there is one other position here that I think there's by far one, and I don't think Rico is gonna take him because I know Rico, but I can't. I think this could help
you fucking soft ass pussy.
I got to do it. It's the best. He's the best closer of all time. Hating the Yankees my entire childhood, and basically it was like rooting against Michael Jordan my whole childhood. It was like ramming your head against the wall. Mariano Rivera, like purring, was the greatest pitcher I've ever seen. He's
not even on my board. Not even on.
I know. I should have just taken the guy I want to take, who you might take, but I'm just gonna have to take him just because like he is so far and away the best closer that like. His big, like, he had like a couple of blown saves, and they're like their own fucking, like, you just know it as the blank game and the Sandy Alomar Jr. game, or
Bill Miller,
the Luis Gonzalez game. Yeah, he has a few, but he has 8 billion absolute shutdowns. And the Yankees, again, I hated them so much, and I had watched every one of their fucking playoff games. And then if it was like the 7th inning and it was like 3-2, like, well, they're just gonna use Rivera for 6, and it's fucking over. He was an absolute weapon upon weapon, and all he fucking did was throw a goddamn cutter. Not one fucking team could just figure out how to stop the cutter. It was so infuriating to me.
That cutter, this should be a stat somewhere. He broke everyone's bat. Like I'm convinced
lefties couldn't hit him.
Like he was bad for the environment because they had to chop down more trees to make more bats because he sawed off so many guys.
Yeah, I'd raised a big fuss over that throughout his tenure.
He was a big dog guy too. He loved the dogs.
And you know who he really loves? 45 and 47, Rico. Big 45 and 47 guy.
Rivera is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Lance, give us the demonetization.
I didn't say any names.
I just said numbers.
Hey, anything flies in the Battle of the Titans, Ed. You know this. We're allowed to speak our mind.
Battle of the Titans.
Clem, good point. Good point. Also, awesome song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was that was like the signal. You might as well start, powering the lights down.
Yeah.
Game's over.
Exit lights. Sing it, Dave.
Enter night.
I will say also,
those,
and they were always in the playoffs. That was like the peak of the evil empire with Bernie Williams and Jeter and all those guys. The new Yankee Stadium just isn't that. Like where you would see those like bunch of people that Rico's probably related to just banging on the tarps and on the as these guys with their like jerseys, necklace, wife beater underneath, and Rivera just walking out and they're banging on the tarps like as he's coming out. It was that old Yankee Stadium for those playoffs was electric.
So is this your guys? Obviously, Mariano Rivera, he's your equivalent to Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers to us, right?
No,
he didn't play
because he's in the other league.
Jeter is one. Jeter is the most hated.
Yeah, Jeter's got to be one.
Jeter's one, but then Rivera's two because of how good he was. Yeah, like you have to respect how good he was, but you hate him.
Like I hated Pippen, I respected Jordan. If that makes sense, you know what I mean. Like I got to a point where it's like this guy's just the greatest I'm ever gonna see. Jeter, there was more holes to poke in him, right? Like his defense and yada yada yada. Mariano was just unstoppable.
How old
am I?
Yeah.
41.
Okay, so you remember those probably second 3 Jordan championships pretty well.
He probably remembers the first 3.
My first memory, basically, the first big game I remember as a Knicks fan was the Charles Smith game.
Okay.
It's true.
I tell this story. Reggie Miller ruined my communion.
Which game? The 8 and 9 seconds?
8 and 9 seconds was a Sunday. We were late because of the fucking 5-borough bike tour. We showed up after the fight, and he fucking ruined the game. That was my communion present.
My 12th or 13th birthday was the Ewing finger roll, right? So the Pacers, Ewing ruined my just fucking horror stories out of New York in the fucking 90s and 2000s, unless you were a Yankees fan, which neither of us were, unfortunately.
Yeah. And you can't say it doesn't matter because different leagues. In that era, that shit mattered. You guys also played in 2000 the World Series.
That's true.
This shit mattered.
Yeah.
I had to go to school every single day. You have the Yankees fans just rub it. I don't hate the Yankees team. I should love. They were gritty guys. They were good fucking players. But it's the fans who, you guys know the picture of the guy with the ring out and
that fan in your class too.
No, we had like a little bit of Mets, but not a ton.
I had a bunch of bandwagon fucking eye ties, so I was the only Met fan in the fucking class.
Oh God, it was bad too because like a lot of the Yankees fans, there was a lot of Bulls fans in my school. You know, they followed Jordan, so I'm fighting wars a Knicks fan and a Mets fan every fucking day of my life, man. And all they would do was fucking win. It was the worst.
Yeah.
Oh God,
That's
fucking
tough.
flashbacks.
All right then, Bosco.
Maybe I'm missing something, and I feel like it could get, I don't want to say vetoed, but you guys might not say he's a slugger. I want to make sure I get the count right. He won the Silver Slugger, I think, 7 times.
It's a crazy stat to know off the top of your head. How many times a guy?
Well, I was just Googling it. Just Googling. Hold on,
I would say that qualifies for a good slugger.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
Best hitter at your position every year.
He won the Silver Slugger 7 times. He's the coolest guy in the history of baseball. I can't believe it fell to me. Am I missing something with Griffey?
You are not.
Why are you? No, that's a great fucking
All right.
pick.
He was 1-1 on my board, so I love that. I mean, just the best. Like, you want to pull up his numbers, the goddamn best. Like, he was exactly like Bonds, and he did do it clean because he got fatter. And he got true fatter. His head didn't get fatter. He got fatter.
I remember
he
hearing
did
that
have a lot of injuries once he went to
back home in
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah, but they were legit injuries. They weren't like the stuff you were seeing with guys on the Mitchell Report. He also missed time in Seattle for running into the wall.
Yeah. I remember like the most steroid injury.
Do you think he did juice? You think he did juice?
I think everyone is possible in that era. In that era, like I
don't know.
I remember that story about Nomar where he had the wrist injury, and he like tore a tendon, and they were like, your tendon like exploded open lengthwise like a hot dog bun, as opposed to everyone else was tearing it like a normal tear. His like it's physically impossible, like, or highly unlikely unless you got something going on. So like he split his tendon like that in his wrist, and they're like, well, stop juicing. He did. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated with his shirt off. He was like, I gotta be a guy like A-Rod hitting 40, and then he was never the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not impossible. Like I know everyone likes to say that he was the only one who didn't. It's not.
It would break my heart if I heard that. Even
would,
though like I love steroids and that was the most entertaining era of baseball ever. There's something about like those guys, like him hurt, like those guys being clean and doing it.
Yeah, I do think I think Frank Thomas is completely clean.
I think so, but you never know.
You never know.
He'd be the perfect steroid guy. Like he just it's
all right.
Oh man,
fucking
nothing.
Yeah.
Think of that. Like if he was clean, I assume he was. Man, think of him on steroids. He'd be hitting the ball into fucking Gary, Indiana every day.
Yeah.
Griffey's a good pick.
Griffey's a great pick.
Griffey's an
like
awesome pick. Why?
Rico, honestly,
there's guys who like define slugger.
He does it because he's like an up the middle. He was a center fielder too, which doesn't like you're thinking brute strength is hitting the ball a mile. Like I don't think he'll get picked like Richie
that's
Sexton.
where like I don't think anybody's gonna pick Dante Bichette, but I consider Dante Bichette like the biggest.
Slugger,
like Troy Gloss.
Like you when you think slugger, it's the guy in the Mets and
Tim Salmon.
rookie of the year where he's
agreed.
got
Agreed.
yeah.
Griffey could slug with the best of them.
Yeah.
I mean, from like
He's got 630, 7th all time.
Yeah, you don't have to qualify it, Rico. He's a
it's
slugger.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
90. Just read these off real quick. 96, 49, 140, 303. 97, 56, 147, 304. 98, 56, 146, 284. 99, 48, 134, 285. 2000, 40, 118, 271. I mean, that's just insane. That run.
Monster.
Yeah.
He was a monster. That
this is what I
backwards
get.
hat.
This is what I get. It was gonna go. I was like, do I go Griffey with my first pick, knowing Rico's probably not gonna take Mo, or do I run the chance that Rico somehow takes Mo? And now I got to live with Griffey not on my board because he was my next pick. If you did,
Yeah, he's the best.
100%.
I can't believe he fell to 5. So
He just doesn't have the body, the slugger body, like Chief said. He doesn't have the big guy.
Yeah,
body.
but I'm wondering how
He's 7th all time in home runs, Rico. You're not going to get any pushback from any of us.
All right, I want to make sure of that.
You're up again.
Yeah, there's two leadoff hitters I would be really thrilled with, but it's a thin market.
So you should
And
probably
you can open the door to closers, but I'm gonna go with Pedro as a starter.
Yeah.
he's the best.
here's my question.
He struck out like 300 guys 2 times at least.
I think that I'm going to approach like all the players for what they were for like a 3-year peak. Like at their absolute best for at least a somewhat extended stretch. Because there's a few guys, especially in the steroid era, that were just flashes in the pan that were fucking incredible. And not that Pedro was a flash in the pan, but that 3-year run, he was the best pitcher in the history of baseball.
I remember
like
watching Baseball Tonight and like waiting for his highlights, and they would say that there was in that 3-year window, like he had the best fastball, he had the best curveball, the best slider,
and his changeup
was probably his
best ever,
probably his best pitch too. But like he was every pitch, like he was the best at.
What was it? What All-Star game was it when he struck out? Was that in Boston?
Yeah.
That was in Boston, and I think it was that All-Star game where they put the like GoPro, basically like the primitive GoPro in the catcher and the ball, and he's 5'8", 5'9", he's a small guy.
And he's like 150
pounds. And the ball just
pounds.
fucking explodes.
Well, have you ever seen the thing where he holds his hand up
he
like this?
He can still do that. He does it on broadcast.
And it's like his fingers bend back.
Yeah.
So like he would like his fingers were long and they were like more like I got
super
flexible fingers.
Yeah, yours are super flexible.
Yeah. But he would just be able to have that flick and his fingers would stay on the ball longer than
like more surface area, some scientific
put more spin on it.
But yeah, that 3-4 year stretch, that's best pitching I've ever seen in my life.
And he had the personality.
Unreal. I mean, you can look it up. He went 17-8 with 305. He had a fucking 1.9 ERA. He went 19-7 with a 2.8 ERA and had 250 Ks. 99 was the famous season. 23-4. He had a 2.7 ERA, 313 strikeouts, and then in 2000 went 18-6. 1.74 ERA, 284 strikeouts. Like that's just unheard.
Who were the guys that he had in that All-Star game they struck out? Because it was like I think it might have been like Bond, Sosa, McGuire. Like like the at the peak of their power.
Was that 99 All-Star game?
Pretty sure.
I think it might have been 98.
It was 99. I'm looking at it now. I'll get the names.
Was it 99?
We can scoot it along.
So then that makes more sense because that was the dream season. He finished second in the MVP that year.
Yeah. He's unhittable.
Probably should have won it. Who won the MVP in 99?
Good question.
Richie Sexton.
Ivan Rodriguez.
Pudge?
Yep.
Wow. Clem, you're up.
Looks like it was Barry Larkin to lead off that game.
I'm between 2 guys right now. I'm pretty torn. We'll go with the hit leader, Pete Rose. Fucking just an absolute savage of a man. I just don't like a lot of leadoff guys after him, so I think I just got to go with Pete Rose. He was one MVP. Looking up his stats right here, he's 1 MVP. I mean, 1 billion hits, tons of I didn't even know he batted leadoff. To be honest with you, I started researching all this.
Same. So he did 10 years of leadoff.
Bread Machine ran through him, started it off, and just an absolute savage. I mean, he's almost like, I don't know, like if you're in another world where he doesn't get suspended for baseball, I think this pick looks so much different. But like Pete Rose just became known as the guy that would like go to baseball events and just look sad and sell his shit 100 yards from the nearest MLB event.
I think he bought a storefront in Cooperstown and had the Pete Rose Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. I'm pretty sure that's true.
Move.
Yeah,
I love it.
Across the street.
You know how certain facts escape you, or it's one of those things you obviously know who Pete Rose is. I obviously know he had 1 million hits. I obviously know he was suspended from baseball. I did not know he was in a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I think his first 10 years.
I think it was just one of those things. Obviously, he played his whole life. He played before I was alive.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I have the same thing
last year
in
was
reverse
86
for this draft. So Tony Gwynn only hit leadoff a handful of times in his life. I just assumed he was a leadoff hitter.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't think I don't remember as a leadoff, but I don't think of Pete Rose because they don't embody it like we're talking about. When you close your eyes and think of a leadoff hitter, you don't think
No, right.
Gwynn or Pete Rose, but Pete Rose did it. So
Charlie Hustle running over people in fucking exhibition games.
love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Injure people.
I
love that.
That's not the stereotypical leadoff man move is running over the catcher, right?
Yeah.
Ichiro, Ricky, they're running
Right.
so fast they don't have to do that. He's also first baseman, third baseman, outfielder, his listed positions, which I always figured he was like an outfielder or something like that. And went to fucking high school in Cincinnati. So like, imagine that. Like, that's fucking local legend there.
How many World Series did they win? 3 in the 70s? The Big Red Machine? Yeah.
2 or 3.
I thought it was 3.
I think it's 3.
Pete Rose, and we're recording this on the day that Reggie Bush got his Heisman back. So
wow, the coincidence. Wow.
Maybe Pete Rose is back.
Oh.
Maybe he's getting in.
He's dead, right?
Ease his pain.
Pete Rose?
Is he dead?
No, he's alive.
Oh, he's alive. He still hustles out in Vegas so that like autograph.
I think he was in the Royal Rumble last year.
Yeah, he's
83. He's 83. Just had his 83rd birthday, April 14th.
He's 83, huh?
Wow. That surprises me.
Chief, that did pass through my head whether or not he was dead, but I was on his reference page and I saw born. I think you almost have to throw in the fact that he survived all those tombstones by Kane and choke slams and shit. Yeah. That's kind of like goes on my board as well.
Yeah, you do. Oh, Pete Rose. White Sox, Dave.
I don't need leadoff. I'll go with Maddox for my starter.
Beast.
Dave had to have a Cub on his team.
No one thinks.
Why the fuck could you guys not have kept that guy? You know, my childhood would have just because when it wasn't the Yankees and the Bulls motherfucking me, it was the Braves motherfucking me, and this guy was an absolute him and the umpires. Right, Rico, the umpires helped him out a little bit.
This might be well, he earned that.
He kind of did.
Who wins the division? Who wins the division 14 times in a row?
It went from the NL West to the NL East.
Just never stopped winning. When they played in the World Series, where were you guys? If it's Yankees Braves in that era, and you're a Mets fan, what do you?
Yeah,
I think it was one of those like you don't. It's the same reason I don't hate Chipper Jones. Like I hate Chipper Jones, but I don't have animosity towards Chipper Jones. If that makes sense. Chipper Jones just walked on the field, said hello, beat our ass, and walked off.
I cannot believe what I'm hearing right now. I cannot believe this. Mariano wasn't on your board. The biggest grudge holder in the world doesn't hate Chipper Jones. He named his kid Shay after he motherfucked us nonstop. He's a Sandy Hook truther. Sandy Hook truther.
He's a Sandy Hook truther?
Now we're demonetized.
Quietly, Clem, he just did it quietly. Jeter was a look at me type of guy. Like Chipper Jones was very quiet while he was beating our ass. And the same thing with the Braves. For most of those years, the Braves, there was no rivalry. We barely were a pimple on their ass. They were like, yeah, we're going to win the division. You guys could have orange uniforms. Who let the dogs out? You can do whatever you want. We're still going to beat you.
That rotation.
It's actually kind of fair.
Yeah.
I respected what are you supposed to do? The Braves were just a business class top 500 organization. That's just what they did. They won baseball games. We couldn't do a thing about it. The Yankees stand for everything that's evil. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, the Yankees players didn't, though. Like, maybe the fucking franchise did, but I don't think...
their head honcho definitely did. Derek Jeter's an evil human.
I think it meant Steinbrenner. Steinbrenner is fair
actually, I like Steinbrenner. I hate the Yankees. I'm very vocal about my hate, but I like Steinbrenner based on what...
What do you like? When he had somebody follow Dave Winfield? I get him out of a contract.
Sure,
like that?
Yeah, I do. That's competitor. That's
like
gamesmanship.
He contributed to Richard Nixon's campaign. You like that?
All right, let's take a quick break from the draft. I'm dragging a little bit this morning. I needed my Stella Blue coffee. We believe coffee is one of life's non-negotiables. Stop drinking those boring, tasteless, big coffee beans and turn to Stella Blue. Remember, your mornings are sacred. It's time to start treating them that way. Not only are Stella Blue's coffee's premium beans sourced from the most coffee-rich geographies on Earth, but they're also Big Cat tasted and approved. We've seen it. We've seen them in the kitchen. We've seen them getting in the lab, making sure that every Stella Blue coffee meets his standards. Stella Blue's delicious roasts are available in cold brew, K-cups, ground, whole bean formats to seamlessly fit into your morning coffee routine. So I'm a guy who just makes it at home. They got a bag for you. We have the K-cup thing downstairs. We got the machine up here. So whatever your form, it's great. Oh, and every bag goes to help save dogs. So I have a rescue dog. You have a rescue dog. Eddie does not. He's not on this ad read. Miss Peaches. We care about dogs on this show and in this company. So remember that when you're looking for coffee, Stella Blue does help you save, dog. So head to your local Jewel Osco or Mariano's today to find the very best deals on Stella Blue coffee, or use promo code WALK for 20% off of any order $25 or more at StellaBlueCoffee.com. Take back your morning with Stella Blue Coffee.
But like, if my owner left no stone unturned to win at all costs, I would appreciate that, and that's why I have an appreciation for
That's fair.
Steinbrenner in spite of the team he owns.
Yeah, I bet you
Steinbrenner
Jerry
though, when they
hated
would have
Steinbrenner.
traded one of the big
Steinbrenner.
four.
They
Steinbrenner
rebuilt
was
the Yankees
suspended.
without him. Yes, that's true. Stick Michael and Watson.
Yeah, if Steinbrenner was around, he would have traded one of the big four. So he gets a little bit of like, he built this team. He would have fucking panicked and traded one of them. I know he would have.
I agree with you, Dave, actually, on that point. Steinbrenner, like, there was a lot of stories, like Rico probably has 1,000 in his brain. His ability to remember all this shit is incredible. Like, he would like fire an elevator employee because like the way he looked at him or something, but then he'd like help the guys, like kids through college and shit. I said, like, Steve Cohen could literally just start murdering people. If it gets the Mets to the World Series, I'm 100% fine with it. Like, I just need one. So like,
You think
Steinbrenner is, I think
bet you.
Steinbrenner is probably like, I probably have a different view of him now that I'm older and like, it's all about winning.
Poor Greg Maddux just got completely jacked
Yeah.
by George Steinbrenner in the second
I
round.
will say Marquee Network plays a lot of old Cubs games, and if you turn on like a late 80s Cubs Greg Maddux, the way that ball moves, it doesn't make any sense.
Talking about cheating, I did hear he was a juicer. Go figure.
Really?
Really?
I've heard that.
Really?
I heard
that.
So I won't say his name, but you two will remember him. One of my pitching coaches in high school. It was kind of like the movie The Rookie, where I was in the shower one day. He was clinging on to his career, giving pitching lessons on the South Side in the off season. My dad starts banging on the shower door. I'm in high school, and he got called up, and he's pitching for the Mets. This is not too long ago, and he told me everybody who he knew was juicing, and Pedro was in that. Pedro.
Yeah, I think that's people
and
know
he's-
about Pedro.
Yeah, and Maddox, he said that everybody talked about him.
I'm surprised.
I
about
think he was a
Maddox.
ball scuffer. That's what I would guess. He cheated more
Well,
than
they
that.
ball scuff for 23 years. He had 5,000 innings pitched.
92 Cy Young.
Yeah.
Let's just put Greg Maddux was a cheater, was a steroid user on the graphic, Eddie. I mean, it's already been
Disavow.
monetized. Let's just get fucking crazy.
True. All right, to me.
And I did find that quote, by the way, by Charles.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to get both these guys because when I think of like my childhood and I think that era of baseball, it's Randy Johnson and
Yep.
Barry Bonds. I don't know how I got
Barry
Randy.
Bonds already got taken.
I know, but I got Bonds in the first round. But like I'm
Oh,
saying,
okay.
from a pitching and hitting standpoint, like those are the two guys.
Killed that
Yeah,
bird.
if I didn't take Pedro, Randy Johnson was the guy I was kicking around, especially his teammates. Randy Johnson was a goddamn animal.
Animal did it for so long too. It was always the best hypothetical as a kid. Like, oh, would you rather take a pitch from Randy Johnson or get hit over the middle by Ray Lewis? You know, it's like a fun hypothetical.
I would rather
guy
get hit by Randy Johnson.
than Ray Lewis.
Yeah. I think so.
Yes.
Too. But I used to think they should have sent him down to Guantanamo and just like, here's the torture. You just have to stand in the box and like you until you start talking. Randy Johnson's firing fastballs at you.
Sick. And he was a late. What he won like 311, right?
303.
303.
Yeah.
I knew it was just over 300, but he was kind of a late bloomer. He didn't really start becoming who he was until he was like 26, 27, I want to say. But like once it clicked for him, because he's 6'10", all those moving parts as a pitcher, it's hard to hone into one single repeatable motion. I'm getting baseball nerdy here, but like you're 60 feet 6 inches away from the hitter. What was his extension? He's throwing the ball probably releasing it 52
14
feet away. I would guess close to 8 feet. I don't know. I have no idea.
He led the league in walks in 90, 91, and 92. He had 99 walks in 93, and then after that is when he was dialed. He led the league in walks and strikeouts in 92.
I would love to sit in a batter's box and just take hacks.
To your
up.
point, he was
guys.
28 in that year. He led the league in strikeouts and walks.
4,875 strikeouts.
Christ.
That's a lot.
Won
of
the Cy
strikeouts,
Young
Ed.
4 times in a fucking row.
That's insane.
During the fucking steroid era, he was just, lighting those motherfuckers up.
That
man.
mullet.
He struck
that
out
mustache.
300 guys. Jesus Christ.
His nickname was intimidating as fuck. Man, that era of baseball was so sweet.
It was awesome.
No one's any cool anymore. Why isn't there any cool baseball players?
There's really, it's like, I
Nerds.
think
Harper's cool. Harper's awesome. Yeah, Harper's great. Acuna's cool.
Acuna,
But not really at the same time. Not like these guys.
But
Not
like Randy Johnson was so uncool that he was cool.
I don't think he was uncool at all.
I think he was. Like, he just looked like a fucking
now
dad who
he's
watched
just-
NASCAR. He
he's
looks
a
like Dale
photographer.
Earnhardt Jr. He looks like
He
Dale
does
Earnhardt Jr. He is not cool at all from
Yeah, I think
from a
there's
looks
something
perspective. But he was
pretty-
so uncool and he was so talented that it made him cool.
the big unit. Oh,
yeah,
what a
great
cool
nickname.
fucking-
Awesome name.
Big
Yeah.
unit.
Like,
Also, him killing the bird is one of the greatest videos of all time.
Yeah.
Man. That was so
Unbelievable.
fucking gnarly.
Also,
Bird loved
Great
it all.
appearance. Great appearance in Little Big League, too.
yeah, solely like made a
I was
franchise.
confused as a little kid. I
Yeah.
thought he was a reliever for like a hot minute. I thought he was a reliever because he comes back into the game to end it, but it was just a playoff. It was a play-in
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, he was awesome.
Made a franchise.
Yeah, basically.
Like the
Yeah.
D-backs, like that hat will always be
Yeah.
iconic because of Randy Johnson
Yep.
and Schiller.
And that blown Mariano Rivera save.
When he came into that game, I'm getting fucking goosebumps just thinking about that. That was one of the most, and I was kind of like, I have to admit, this is gonna piss Rico off. I was like, that was the one year I was like, if the Yankees win at this point, they already won like 4 times. I was like, I don't mind because 9/11 was such a shitty fucking year.
Yeah. The Yankees did a lot for 9/11. They volunteered their parking lot like the Mets did, right? They wore the hats too, right, Clem? They wore the hats, right? You
And
remember?
then they didn't wear the hats. I don't remember.
Did they wear the hats? Did they
I don't-
volunteer their parking lot? Did they shut down and become a collection service?
Did Chipper
No,
Jones
they
do
didn't
any of
do any
that?
of
Did Chipper Jones do any of that? Don't think so, Rico.
He was in Atlanta.
Anyway,
And Chipper Jones did say if the Mets were going to win, it was a good thing that night. So Chipper Jones did say that.
when anyway, when the Yankees were about to win, looking like they were going to win series, and then I had Yankee fans just starting to chirp. I was like, "Fuck these guys!" And then I was like, "You know what? I'm going for the Diamondbacks." And when Unit came out of that bullpen, it was one of the most incredible, like I don't know, like top 10 baseball moment. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
And he comes in, just mows him down. Unbelievable fucking.
Just a
I don't know.
motherfucker.
We didn't go soft in the Bosco house that night. We were still rooting for Arizona.
I mean, I ended up rooting for
Hey,
Arizona.
hey, Arizona.
The Zingases was still rooting for
Arizona is
they
America,
jumped
too.
ship. They went soft.
Chief, you're up.
All right, I'm doing one for my dad. This is like, I feel like you have like certain athletes who are like myths in your head just from your dad. Bob Gibson is that for me. My dad would talk about Bob Gibson. I think he's the guy that they lowered the mound.
Yeah, the mound was like
Yeah, and they're like, this
Yeah.
is unfair.
Yeah.
So because Bob Gibson was so nasty, and if you look at his like Dave,
Dude.
you're saying like the 3-year window or whatever. His like peak was like the numbers like baffle your mind. Like he has a sub-3 ERA for his career. Like that is like a Cy Young season.
Go look at his highlights with that mound. He's throwing like off a cliff,
Yeah.
and he's an ox of a human being. And his breaking pitches are doing like it's physically impossible
Yeah.
to break and snap as much as they were, but he did it.
And then they would also say that he was like the most intimidating guy because he would like
Horse
headhunt
of a human.
and headhunt.
Yeah.
Like he would just like literal
Right through your eyes. Yeah.
literal chin music. I remember hearing that about like Bobby Hull would like miss slap shots on purpose. Like he'd whiz it like early in the game by the goalie's head just because he knew that would be worth a goal or two later in the game. And Bob Gibson would do like similar things. He's like, I'm first pitch, I'm backing the guy off, and then because I will throw it at his head, and then I'm just gonna strike him out. So Bob,
I think it's a fantastic pick.
Yeah, it's good for Chief's dad and Frank the Tank and
Ed can't appreciate
Ed,
anything.
Eeyore Ed.
Or Ed, if he didn't see it, he's not a historian.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, if it wasn't on SportsCenter, then Ed's out. If it wasn't on SportsCenter from '98 to 2004, Ed's out.
Yeah.
what? I'm praising your pick. It's good. Like what? The people who
no.
still bought Cracker
You
Jacks
said
at the
that
ballpark
with
would love this.
attitude
Yeah.
and with
no,
tone.
he's
No, I listen. All the people who back in the
doesn't-
day
no, he
would
doesn't
go and
respect
still
Bob
get
Gibson.
Cracker Jacks. They
At
would
all.
love
doesn't
this
respect
pick.
baseball.
Right, Rico?
Because he's black, Ed? You don't
Yeah.
like Bob Gibson because he's black?
That's
You wish there was still segregation in
I
baseball?
wasn't
You said
going to be
Jackie
the one
Robinson
to
was
say
your
it
favorite player?
because I don't want to demonetize our show. But I hear a lot of dog whistles going off. Let's just say that.
Yeah, Peter Gammons loves this pick. It's good.
Bob Gibson's one of those
Can we
guys
take a
who
pause and just read Peter Gammon's COVID quotes and Donald Trump quotes? They're so funny. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I remember in real time. I can't like pick one off. I'm like, I remember
fuck
reading
the Yankees one, the fuck the Yankees chant, right? That was that Gammons or Bob Bryant?
No, I think that was Gammons. Yeah, like it was disgusting.
Bob Gibson's kind of like Ricky, where if he like, there's quotes where you're like, I don't even know if he really said it, but it sounds awesome. My buddy used to always say, Tim McCarver, I think was his catcher, and he went to like the mound, and Gibson was furious, and he visit the mound, and he goes, "The only thing you know about pitching is you can't hit it. Get back behind the plate." I mean, just like an awesome old curmudgeon. I fucking love Bob Gibson.
All right, and for my next pick, just out of respect for America and American heroes, I'd like Ed to have his microphone turned off so we can have a civil, adult American discussion about Ted Williams, because he's going to be my slugger. No mic for Ed. Greatest hitter who ever lived. Definitely a slugger, hit over 500 home runs. Took time off to go and, save the world against Hitler and the Nazis. Great, decorated war hero. Unbelievable baseball player, Ted Williams.
So while everything you said is true, I learned all this on a really early version of the snake draft, but apparently Ted Williams wasn't the American hero you think of. He was actually Mexican, changed his last name to Williams to like Americanize himself because he hated his Mexican heritage. I don't know if it was Mexican.
I think his mom was, because he's from San Diego.
So, okay, Mexican would make sense then.
Yeah.
I guess big time racists and that. But that said,
it's a different era.
Different era,
Yeah.
and he could rake.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Ed might want his mic back on after hearing all that.
Yeah.
Fuck Ed.
He hit fucking Did he hit 400 in a fucking season?
406.
Jesus
The last guy to hit over 400. So imagine being like,
22-year-old.
There was a rumor that the fucking GMs got drunk one night and traded him for Garrett or him for Mantle or one. Like there was a story they did it on a napkin, and they woke up the next day and they fucking were like, they went down to the bar, the restaurant bar again, and they were like, "Yo, we're not doing that, right?" And they were like, "No, we're not doing that."
I never heard that story.
Forget where I heard it.
And he might not be
The
done.
biggest trade that ever was
Frozen.
Joe DiMaggio for Ted Williams.
Well, and I'm pretty sure DiMaggio's brother played for the Red Sox, Dom DiMaggio. So maybe they're trying to unite the brothers.
My man Teddy Williams on ice somewhere. He's ready to come back and
I bet
Yeah,
he
that's
could
true.
Still hit if you thaw him out.
Harrelson said it doesn't matter. Like everybody's like, "Oh, but Babe Ruth 1 and 2 shit today." He's like, the great ones would always be great, no matter the era. Maybe not as great, but they'll always be great. I mean, if you take Kyle Tucker on Houston, who's an awesome
story
hitter,
about it.
you put him up next to Ted Williams, just like a superimposed. They have identical swings. They're the same hitter.
So career average 344. I mean, for a guy to be one of the greatest contact hitters of all time and also hit over 500 home runs for his career while taking 6 years out of his prime to fight wars or 3 years out of his prime to fight wars. I thought he fought in Korea too.
are you concerned that he was under 500
Which side?
as a manager?
No, I'm not drafting him as a manager.
Crazy.
I didn't even know he was a manager.
4 seasons.
With who?
The Washington Senators.
Him for DiMaggio in
besides
a
Texas
trade.
Rangers.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I will say, I think some people will be surprised seeing the Slugger next to him. It's it's even a more extreme version of Griffey, but I mean, what it's 500 something home runs. You can't really.
He was a slugger.
521.
Yeah, he's a Slugger. Yeah.
All right, back to me. Going lead off. Killer Bees, Craig Biggio. 3,000 hits. National League record for 52 leadoff home runs. I believe he's been hit by a pitch most in history.
He's got to be. He was always
Think
up
so.
there. Yeah.
Another one of my all-time favorite guys.
Yeah, he was great.
Started off as a catcher, right?
He was. He was like a Gold Glove caliber catcher.
And then second in center field.
Actually, he might have won a Gold Glove at catcher and second base. I think that I looked that up real quick. He might have done that.
Should have done him.
That's an absurd 3 positions to play: catcher, center field, second base. Because we're up the middle. Where, you win games.
You said you wanted him, Bosco?
Reminds me of me.
No, I was looking at actually another guy on my list, Slugger.
Leadoff
That's
hitter,
pretty
catcher, center
obviously a
fielder.
Slugger. But Biggio's a great pick.
Yeah, he's been hit 285 times.
Is it me next?
So apparently Huey Jennings is the only other one. He had 287, but yeah, he got hit by it.
Those Astros teams were fun too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were.
Great logo too. The fucking star, the gold star, unbelievable.
That's like when I think of Randy Johnson, like the Randy Johnson Astros. I think he only did a half season or something like that. Like he was a deadline guy for the Astros. But those uniforms. They had Alou. Those were.
It was the Killer Bees. It was Biggio.
I thought Berkman was later.
Bagwell Berkman. No, he played. He played with them.
Berkman was like 04.
But Berkman wasn't on the Randy Johnson team.
No.
But Bagwell and Biggio were. Yeah.
I mean, just that lineup, you just get diced in the face every time.
I think Derek Bell wiggled his way into the Killer Bees at one point because he was a B guy who was decent. He wasn't as good as Berkman.
But I mean, Biggio played 141 games at 41 years old. Like he's another guy who just played for fucking forever.
Played forever.
Yeah.
White Sox, Dave.
I'm gonna go with Mark McGwire. Is it me next? He exudes. You're after. No, you got two more.
You're after Clem.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
All right. Mark McGwire. I mean,
exudes slugger. Those forearms. You could hear his bat going through the zone. They would say that. I mean, 70 bombs. That 98 saved baseball with Sosa. Mm-hmm. Just exudes slugger.
There's just nothing fun about Mark McGwire.
What are you talking about? Nothing fun with Mark McGwire.
Like that year with him and Sosa, like Sosa was a much more compelling athlete.
Because you lived in Chicago.
Yeah, but like even still, like you don't.
Ask the guy, poll the party.
Yeah, I will say, separated from it all, Sosa was definitely the fun guy, but McGwire was like U.S. Steel's like that's the fucking dude who we thought was going to win it, and you knew him from with the Bash Brothers in Oakland. They were both like it was actually kind of cool to have such different guys. They were both awesome though. Like I don't think you can. I was actually going to wonder how you guys followed it in Chicago because it was like win-win no matter what.
This is pre-internet. I remember that year there was the community pool. We'd go to the community pool every day, and on the way to the pool, I'd ride my bike there. I'd get the newspaper. And I would fucking look up box scores in the newspaper.
So I can't remember what street it was on, and it's been torn down. But there was like this old barn on my way to school and on the way home on the bus. And if he hit one on a day game, they were keeping a tally. So they would have like 40 is on there, and then they'd spray paint it over 41. And like it was like you said, pre-internet, and this was day games.
Yep.
So you're at school, and you're like everybody on the bus would like rush over to that side of the bus to see if Sosa had hit one while you're at school. And like that, so like being 12, I was 12 years old.
I was 10, yeah.
That was like, I don't know, it was like the coolest race ever. And Sosa was just like such a character, and they got to find a way to bring him back. But I do think that McGwire was, bullshit. He was a little boring to me.
It was the perfect yin and yang with him and Sosa. Like
Definitely.
Sosa running out with the American flag after 9/11 and all that. It's like, but for this specific draft, you're like, to Rico's original point about Ken Griffey Jr., you don't think of Ken Griffey Jr. as like, I know he obviously is a slugger, but like he was a suave center fielder that was graceful. Mark McGwire's just like one movement here to here, hit the ball a mile.
Yeah.
Dave,
he's the guy next to the dictionary definition of slugger. It's McGwire.
That's what
and
they made fun of it on
The
Simpsons. And the V-cut body.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, Dave. Like, I think the first thing you said after you picked McGwire put it perfectly. Those forearms are the most handcrafted slugger forearms in the history of Major League Baseball.
And like he was like the goatee and all, like he was 90s baseball to me. Like
he's that villain in like all the movies.
Yeah. But he was also like, I feel like he was like a nice guy. Like he was
probably a super nice guy.
Yeah.
I got to within about 10 feet of him a couple years ago at a White Sox spring training game because he was the I want to say the bench coach of the San Diego Padres. Mm-hmm. And there was nobody there, and I could have struck up a conversation if I would have been a dickhead, just like, hey, Mark, what's going on? But I didn't. He's the guy I'd love to shoot the shit with. And what did he do? He kept a bottle of like creatine or something in his locker. So when they're all like, "Oh, he's taking steroids," like, no, it's right there. It's just like creatine.
Yeah. Didn't he like break in?
Andrew.
Wasn't he like a great college pitcher too?
Might have been. I don't know.
Pretty sure.
He's another guy. It's hilarious to look at young McGwire and he's like a string bean, and then he just becomes this fucking Hulk.
I was gonna say this for Bonds. I remember I don't know the exact sizes, but his rookie year he's like a 7 1/8 fitted hat, and by the time he retired, he was like 7 3/4 or something.
Eddie, you said it like right after he said the pick. The first thing I thought was, let's hit dingers. Like, who wants to see me hit some dingers from The Simpsons? That should almost be like his picture on the graphic. His fucking Simpsons McGuire. Because he was like a cartoon character. He wasn't even real.
Wasn't there like, it was like he was knocking like satellites out. There was like some big like CIA kind of controversy. He was like, do you want to learn about that? Or do you want to watch me hit some dingers? And everyone was just dingers.
McGuire was sick. My dad, for 1 year, my brother was a big McGuire fan during that chase. He got him a jersey for Christmas that next year, and it wasn't McGuire 25. He put 70 on the back.
I mean,
fucking sick.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you want to say Slugger, the guy who won the home run, broke the record, is
70,
the definition of a Slugger.
70 was such a nice round number too.
Like 73 is an ugly number.
Yeah.
All right, Clem, you're up.
So I think the two positions I'm looking at, Bosco has both of them, but I don't think I'm going to go manager this early either. I'll just kind of take like the guy who, like, if you say like great NFL teams, everyone just says 85 Bears. It's kind of just how it goes. Like this guy on the mound thinks he's Koufax. So I'm just going to go Koufax. His peak was short, but it was fucking incredible. And I don't know. I'm sure I'll get, like you said, the Gammons and the Frank the Tanks will love it. But see Sandy fucking Koufax. He's awesome.
I don't know if Gammons would love it in today's climate.
There's going to be a Slugger left on the board that might be one of the worst omissions on the planet, but we'll get to it at the end.
Probably, you're right.
There's going to be a few Sluggers that are left on the board. The way
one that's like really, really, really bad.
Maybe Koufax is staying power for sure.
Yeah,
he's another guy that's kind of like a myth.
That staying power too.
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody have a Slugger?
Besides Clem does not.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
You're up, Rico.
Yeah, I'm torn between two because this guy, like to Chief's point, like there's very few of these guys that grow on trees as a leadoff hitter, and I want to take him, but I also want to take another guy who was close to our heart and was just as good as a leadoff hitter. I'm going to take Jose Reyes. There was nobody who legged out a triple like Reyes. Like, you used to go to games and you wouldn't watch the ball. You would watch him. He was a true leadoff hitter. Short type of prime, but had a lot of success for the Mets.
He hit like 350 for the Mets in like 2013 or something, right?
Not that late. He wasn't playing for us in 2013. He only played for the Mets from 2003 to 2011.
11 is when he did it. It was his fucking contract year, of course.
Yeah, 11. Oh, you're right. 11 he did it for us. So, but yeah, man, he was like, his triples alone led the league 4 times. Just unbelievable. When I think of him, I think of Jose Reyes, a leadoff hitter, hitting a triple.
78 stolen bases in 2007.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with him. Just like, that is a leadoff hitter. That guy's just legging out a triple somewhere and hustling. So I'll take Reyes.
You want to talk about the Peter Gammons vote? This is the Peter Gammons vote, because I'll tell you, like, back then, again, it was like Sports Center and ESPN is kind of how you like heard about all this shit. The internet wasn't really cruising like it is now. And Peter Gammons talk about the joy of watching Jose Reyes leg out a triple in like AA, and I'm like, who the fuck is this Reyes guy? And then he came up and yeah, he lived up to it. He was awesome. He was like a little bit, he like let you down in the big spots a little bit compared to, I guess, some of the Hall of Famers we have on this list, but I'm not going to speak ill of Jose Reyes on this.
Did he let you down?
Good glove, like respectable.
Yeah, oh, he did. He did all right, Chief. He sure did. I don't want to talk about that one right now. And then David Wright's last season, they kept him like, it was almost like Jose Reyes' last season. They kept showing him, and everyone's just like, get Jose Reyes off our fucking screen, because we do not like. It was kind of a disavow at that point with Jose Reyes, and David Wright was as pure as the falling snow at that point too. So it was tough.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Reyes and Wright were awesome. Like, you guys looked in great hands having like 2 young 20-year-olds at that point. So Reyes was a beast.
It was like Wood and Pryor with you guys. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, how we fucking got this, and then it's like baseball just fucks you like
They were on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 04. So that the 03 was Bartman. 04 was like, all right, like
It was the Hell Freezes Over cover.
yeah,
Yeah, because they picked the Cubs to win the World Series.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And those two guys were on the
We were last in the Central, and we sucked ass.
yeah.
Rico, you're up.
No, 04?
04, yeah.
They didn't finish last in the Central in 04.
Then it was 05. They were
It was 04 was the year they traded for Nomar at the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they weren't. Sorry, 05 was.
Yeah, because that's when the
But they didn't make the playoffs in 04.
no, they didn't.
Yeah. My apologies. I mixed that up. Rico.
There's a few closers out here to take from, but I'm just going to take the one I feel like was grown in a lab to throw a fucking 100. And maybe because he was unstoppable in MLB Showdown, just his card, like you just couldn't get a hit. I'm going to take Billy Wagner.
Great.
And not
pick.
because he played for the Mets, but I think of Billy Wagner on those Astros teams. I think of Billy Wagner just throwing a fucking hundo. Like closer.
He was
Billy
awesome.
Wagner.
He was awesome to watch.
Yeah, there's a few others that are like more stereotypical, but Billy Wagner is a fucking all-time closer. All-time closer.
He's my.
And I'm not taking him because he played for the Mets.
He's our D3 brethren. He's a Division III pitcher. You know that? Highest Division III pitcher ever drafted, and the only one that.
How does that happen? How does a guy who throws 100?
I think what the story is, and we can fact check this. I believe it was Billy Wagner. He broke his right arm, taught himself how to throw a lefty. Obviously, started taking a bunch of steroids, and then threw 100.
Never led the league in saves.
Really?
The reason I didn't have Wagner on my board is because of his time with the Mets, because he blew every fucking big save for us that really mattered, and it drove me bananas. And that's why a guy like Rivera, like he almost always came through. A guy like Wagner, and I'm sure you know this, Rico. Wagner's was the first one with Enter Sandman as his song. And Mo just got it given to him. He didn't even know what the fuck Metallica was. And then when he came to the Mets, he kept it as his song. And in peak Mets fashion, all the Yankee fans were shitting on us. And it was just like another LOL Mets moment. Wagner was nasty.
How was Wagner for the Mets in 07 down the stretch?
He in the playoffs, I think he blew a game against the Cardinals. Game 2? I don't remember. It's the 06 season was the season where, we thought we were going to win it all for sure.
Yeah.
06, they should have won it all.
Oh wait, was he even on the Mets? Was it?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. It was 05, 06, 07. He was, 06, 07, 08. We acquired him in 06 for that push.
Yep.
But I don't know. There was a lot of reasons the Mets didn't win in 06. Maybe if the catcher hit more than fucking 206 in the playoffs. There's a lot of different things out there. But
No, say it. What?
I think, did I just see Sotaguchi was the guy who hit the fucking home run off him? Am I reading this right? I don't, I'm sorry, guys. This has been a nightmare.
But I'm taking Billy Wagner before he was with the Mets.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't.
No. I mean, I'm taking Billy Wagner, but even before he was a Met. This is not a Met type pick. He was an animal for everybody else, especially those Houston teams. I remember him just being a beast for Houston.
He was.
Clem, you're up.
Does everyone have a slugger?
I think so.
Dave,
Yeah.
Dave, do you have a slugger?
Yes, I do.
All right, so I'm not gonna take a slugger then. All right, so for manager, I think it's another thing that the fucking nerds have killed is like managers aren't important. It's all about just listening to the fucking.
They're not characters anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. 25-year-old, graduates from Brown in the front office telling you who to do when. So I basically just had a bunch of characters. And at this point, I don't know. Like, I always liked this guy, but then I don't know what's real and what's not. I think I just, really fell in love with Tommy Lasorda even more so when Big Cat would just blog him every fucking day. And it's like, he'd eat the pasta picture. I'm sure everyone. Ken Jack, give me the pasta picture for my Tommy Lasorda graphic. I mean, just an absolute, good vibes, dude. Remember, who was it? The Vladdy Guerrero bat when he fell over. Uncle Tommy Piazza. He was Tommy. He was Mike Piazza's godfather, whatever, and helped him grow up and won a championship with the Dodgers, which obviously was a big deal. So give me big fucking Tommy Lasorda. He's my skipper.
Tommy.
He never won a World Series. Oh no, he did. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won in '88.
Yeah.
All right, good pick.
White Sox, Dave.
Boring pick. because I'm going.
I
with my
think
guy.
that's a better manager pick than anyone else out there.
I think
have some good guys
I think
listed.
all of them are boring.
See, I'm going with someone who accomplished the impossible and won a World Series with the White Sox. I'm going with Ozzie Guillen. He literally accomplished, and we're talking characters. He made out with Chief on camera for content.
I was gonna say that's like you're kind of stealing Chiefs guy here.
He was on my. He was
way.
going to be. I didn't think I was going to take him on the wraparound. I didn't think Dave would take him here.
I had to take him. I mean, we're talking about he accomplished the impossible and led the White Sox to a World Series championship.
Why can't he get back in baseball? It's fucking bullshit.
Because he called Fidel Castro like a cool guy or something in Miami.
I mean,
points can be made, right, Dave? I think we could talk about this on the pod now. Everything's demonetized.
Yeah, everything's. We're probably spending money to record at this point. So yeah, he said that he's got a lot of respect for Fidel Castro. Cracked the whip.
Yeah, not great, but
he said it. But he's like, yeah, I respect him because if I don't respect him, he's gonna chop my head off. Or so he said something like that. So and people took it the wrong way. They're like, oh, he's a Fidel sympathist.
Wasn't that like 15 years ago now that he said that? So
it was. I mean, they try to get back in the fan base's good graces by doing dumb shit like making a nice milkshake in one section of the stadium that's impossible to access unless you have a specific ticket. What they should do is hire Ozzie Guillen and fire the idiot they got now, Pedro Griffel.
If they had hired Ozzie instead of Lasorda, or La Russa rather, sorry, do you think?
No. It's not this bad. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think that he could have gotten a tune out of that core?
I think it's still bad though. I think pussification is pussification.
Yeah,
a lot of these guys.
I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, it wouldn't have been such a. They wouldn't have fallen off a cliff so hard. It would have been a slow burn.
Yeah.
I saw Dave tweet out 3-20 this morning, and I said, "Oh, are they like 3 for 20 with runners in scoring position or something?" I didn't realize that was their record.
Yeah,
like,
that's the record.
Holy shit, it is bad out there. Right?
You should.
And I'm
bet
saying this
against
is a
them
son of
every
Uribe. I'm saying this is a son of Uribe. Like, granted, like the Mets had a shitty season last year, but we all know it starts at the ownership. You guys had your like moment in the sun, and that's what happens. Happened with us a million times. Rico always go through it. You have the one season, you make the playoffs, and then just come crashing right down and go through the Earth's mantle right back to the core.
Yep. This is even beyond that, though.
You should be one of those guys that puts like I feel like it's more of a thing in football where like a super fan will put the team's record in their Twitter handle. You should just do that for the Sox.
I can start. I'll do that right now.
I'm rooting for you though. I bet the Marlins have the worst record.
No, the White Sox will.
I know, but it was.
I bet against them every day now.
I got it at I got the Marlins' worst record at 20-1.
All right, I'm up. Ozzie Guillen, good pick. Hell's Bells, Trevor Hoffman.
Yep, that would have been my
Good
next
pick.
Yeah, one of two guys with 600 saves. So
he did it in an atypical way too, because he didn't throw hard. He was change up. He was like a finesse guy, but when you heard that dong, dong, it's making my skin chill.
I feel like in all the times that he was on the Padres, they only had that one good team. Like they went to the World Series and lost the Yankees one time, and I feel like the rest of the time they were just kind of right?
Yeah,
is that right?
I remember in 2005 they made the playoffs, and I think they might have been 81 and 81. I don't even. And
that sounds familiar for some reason.
Only time can you look that up?
I'm trying to look up his playoff stats. He had 12 appearances.
Yeah, he never played in the playoffs really. It's unfortunate because he was.
And he did his whole. Oh no, he did two seasons at the end with Milwaukee.
Yeah, I remember him in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
They lost the World Series. They got swept by the Yankees, and then they made 3 other playoff series, and they won 1 game during those 3 series of the NLDS.
What was the Yankees year?
98.
98?
Yeah, 98.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were 98 and 64.
Correct? You got them. Oh, that's good, Rico.
Chief, you're up.
All right, so this goes back to like I think this guy at his peak might have been the best closer ever, but he had 3 like Eric Gagne.
That's
it was on my board. That's a great pick.
He was those years. It was like what 03, 04, 05, something like that for the Dodgers. Yeah, I think he won a Cy Young as a closer. I think he had 60 something saves, and he was pure juice and absolutely unhittable for those 3 years, and then he just completely fell off a cliff. But it like him at his peak is as good as it gets. Like just high leverage position every time, throwing absolute gas. What, just like a fastball slider, right? I feel like that's all.
No, change up. Yeah, his changeup was the separation between his fastball and changeup was like 30 miles an hour. It was like a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and a 72-mile-an-hour changeup, from what I remember. Yeah, that 3-year stretch though, his Cy Young year, he had a .69 whip. That's pretty fucking absurd. Like a good closer is .9 whip. He's beating that by a third. It's
juiced to the gill,
to the skull,
and that's fine by me. Give me all those players back. I want those specs. I want to know what he looks like now. By the way, I bet you he's 400 pounds, like disheveled.
He was kind of heavy when he was playing. Yeah. I wonder what he's up to.
We should.
I feel like he's like the real life Kenny Powers, man. Like he was just so dirty and then just like slowly fell off a cliff.
He's substitute teaching somewhere for like work release.
Last 2 picks, last 2 legendary closes that ended their career in Milwaukee too.
He did too?
Yeah, I remember that too. He bounced around and he was just getting shelled.
That's who Shohei hit that home run off.
Pitched. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm the opener. Oh no, not Shohei.
Not Shohei.
Fuck, you know I'm Fukudome.
Yeah, Fukudome. Yeah.
Not Shohei. I wish.
I don't know why more like they failed starters they just throw them as closers, because like this guy, he was like juiced and whatever, but I feel like
it could work.
You just see this happen like occasionally, you know, and it's
work.
like it goes crazy.
All right, Chief, take us into the 5th round.
All right, so this is more of like I have to have a manager. This is like a look and feel. I don't know if this guy was a great manager or not. He managed forever. I'm taking Jim Leland.
Fuck you,
motherfucker.
Why? All right, good. I'm glad everybody likes the pick.
Fuck
because
you.
like that to me, like that's what I want my manager to look like. I want to have, the mustache. I want the dip in. I want the, the F-bombs flying around. Jim Leland to me is like, that is like, he is Mr. Baseball to me. Like he just looks the part.
This is my
smoke
pick.
Cigarettes in the fucking
dugout, ripping heaters like that guy. And like, it looks like he did win a world. I forgot he was the Marlins guy in '97. Yep. And then he took the Tigers, won the 06 and 12. So had success. His winning percentage all time is barely over 500, but that's kind of baseball though too.
Guy.
Yeah, Jim Leland. Happy to have Jim Leland.
My one of my oldest friends started playing football with him when I was 10. He was a 4th rounder by the Tigers, and Rico, you'd be happy to know he had, I think, 4 career starts for Detroit before he blew out his arm. In his first career start, struck out A-Rod and Jeter twice apiece.
Love it.
But he played for Jim Leland, said he was exactly everything you see. Everything you, I mean, that was only, he got to know him during spring training and the handful of starts he had in the majors, and said he was just awesome.
Yeah, that's a great pick. This is my pick. I'm up, so I'll just keep it in the same vein. I'm going to take Terry Francona.
That's
probably a better manager.
Yeah.
But
for my money, best manager I've ever seen. I think he's the best manager of my lifetime. Arguably, but I think he is. He's
got it all. Legitimately good manager. He's got the cool guy. Like he just seems like a guy.
Always like eating peanuts and
yeah.
Never wore a uniform.
Yeah.
Like he was always just.
He was Michael Jordan's manager in Birmingham.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to be a top 5 guy you'd want to talk baseball.
Definitely,
with, right?
definitely, he's up there. Leland for sure because the cigarette factor. I want to just rip cigarettes with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like once he's done, and he's got to be done pretty soon. Wait, he is done.
He's done.
He's done. Yeah, he's done. That like those kind of guys just die and breed. It's unfortunate.
It's a shame.
And when you said did the impossible, I was thinking you were drafting him because he won with the Red Sox. Obviously, the White Sox make sense as well. But like that was. I'm sure Rico, I hate to say it, like almost like the highlight of my baseball life was like the 2004 Red Sox because I was rooting so hard for them, and the Mets have never made it to the mountaintop for me. You know,
you had 86. You don't?
I was 4. My first memory, my first big Mets game memory is Mike Scioscia game. So it's like I have nothing but bad memories basically from the early game. Yeah.
Who's like the closest guy to like a Leland or like a classic baseball guy that's a manager now?
Pinella type.
Yeah.
Dude, it's hard to even name MLB managers.
I know.
Jeff D. Lowe will be like, who's the manager of the Rockies? Like, I have no fucking clue.
I have no fucking clue.
Is Bruce Bochy still managing?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but none of those guys have like the bigger than life personalities.
Yeah. But Bochy's just had so much success that he kind of lends itself to that.
Giant head.
Like, Girardi, like he was the manager of the Yankees, but he was not the manager of the Yankees. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. White Sox Dave, you need a closer.
Gagne was my pick, and I didn't think we would have him because that's what I was talking about earlier. Like his peak was awesome, but it was so short-lived.
It was literally 3 years.
Yeah. He would have been my pick, so I guess by default I got to go with Eckersley. Everybody else has been drafted that was on my board.
Coolest looking guy.
Yeah. He kind of invented the position too.
He did?
That matters. Yeah, to an extent. A little bit.
There's another guy my dad loved.
That mustache, man.
I bet you he just dipped Redman and smoked Marlboro Reds and threw back 30 Miller Lights on that flight from Oakland to Cincinnati or whatever.
He was probably on a team with Wade Boggs, right? Was he on the Red Sox at the same time as Wade Boggs?
Might have been.
I think he was.
Like Eckersley, same with Randy Johnson. Like just two guys that were probably born to drive the 6 car.
Yeah.
Took a different path.
But Randy Johnson's a photographer now. Do you know that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He just loves photography and goes to like
I knew that about Randy Johnson. Yeah.
takes pictures and has his own photography gallery. And
I think he was like on the sidelines of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Welcome to the conversation.
Oh, you said Super Bowl too?
I did.
Oh, my bad.
The logo for his company is a dead bird.
Ed, tell him
like
welcome
the one
to
he
the
killed.
conversation.
Really? I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's like an upside down bird with like I think feathers are in the air. Like he just killed it. It's like awesome.
That's sick. Clem, you're up.
All right, so I got to go with a slugger here, and there's a wide array of sluggers that we are going. I mean, we're leaving off like 7 guys. I don't know who I'm going to take here. God, I hate doing this. I hate starting and ending with a Yankee, but Babe Ruth. The stats.
That was
so
the guy
ridiculous.
that was popping to me. That was like, how do we leave this guy off?
Yeah, and the thing is, Babe Ruth, like when we put him on like drafts like this, you have all the people like he would fucking go cross-eyed if he saw the breaking pitches and the shit they do now. But it's like, he also wasn't like trying. Basically, he was like eating and drinking in the dugout and probably just fucking chicks between innings, coming out and then hitting a bomb and having more home runs than entire teams and shit like that. So it's like almost. You could say the same thing about Hank Aaron, who had the home run record, but his like season per season numbers are so just absurd. And honestly, I know Bosco is like a blood feud. The Yankees are like kind of irrelevant to me. I will hate the Yankees again if they sign Juan Soto and we don't even get a chance to like go after him. But at this point, like there's 15-year-olds that have never seen the Yankees win a World Series.
No, the hate is you're starting to feel a little bad for them. The Yankees haven't been playing like massively important games in a while. They're in the playoffs, but they're a dog. They're a big dog. The Yankee hatred and the hate watching of Yankee games, it's been a little while since we've done it. Been a while.
No, it's to the point where it's like they are like the punching bags for the Astros now, right?
Yeah,
it's like the
Astros bukkake them every time they play them in the playoffs. It's
and
like
the Red Sox
fellas.
did the same.
It was a good use of bukkake, Dave.
Great use of bukkake. That was like a monthly. I'd throw that in a blog, or I'd like remix it and put another word instead of the boo. And then,
I had to yell on our show yesterday at the editing staff, not to name names, but Clem, you're on that editing staff. I had an issue with some censorship yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
If you throw a bukkake blog, I'll just publish it before they even have a chance. So just throw it up now.
Okay, I actually am going to do that.
Dante Sachs, Dave, handle it offline. Rico, Mr.
Someone's going to Google bukkake and have no clue what's about to come their way. I'm just saying.
Do it.
Watch out if
work.
you do that.
Don't do it at work. Mr. Relevant, Rico, we need a manager.
Yeah, it seemed like Dave was going to give him away. When you talk about managers, I want a little bit of everything. I want anger. I want flip outs. I want just been around baseball forever. A guy who looks like he smokes heaters in the dugout. Give me Lou Piniella.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet Lou.
It's Lou Piniella, without a doubt.
Obligatory, I'll always kind of hold a grudge against Lou because I thought he was going to be the missing piece to take the 07-08 Cubs, and then they just proceeded to get swept out. Yeah.
Yep.
Manny Ramirez.
I thought so too, actually.
Yeah, he was just
It was him and Milton Bradley. I'm like, that's the edge they need.
It. Yeah, and it just didn't. Wasn't the same guy, even though he did get tossed a bunch and he had some memorable Cubs freakouts. But But yeah, Lou Piniella's great pick in the scope of this draft.
He would probably beat anybody's ass in this draft. How many fights do you think he got in with players over the course of his multiple decades?
Few.
Yeah, a few, I'd bet.
Yeah. All right.
He was on the Bronx's Burning teams, right? I think
he won one with them.
Psychopath.
Let's do this, since we could obviously name players for another hour and already kind of going long here. Everybody just gives one honorable mention from each category.
Okay.
I like who's the biggest omission? Like people are going to get most mad
Kenny
about.
Lofton.
He was on my
That
list.
was mine for leadoff too.
Yep.
If I didn't get Beasley, I was going to take a Lofton.
He's starting to get
Tim
those
Wakefield.
What do you say? Well, let's go in order, Rico.
I'll have Rico go then.
So all right, you got another leadoff guy, Clem?
I think I deleted my leadoff list here. So yeah, Kenny Lofton was probably the guy though that I was looking at.
Did either of you two have one?
Rock Reigns and Wade Boggs.
Rock Reigns and Wade Boggs. Yeah,
Yeah.
those were the.
Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, that would have been a good pick.
Yeah,
I assuming he hit leadoff, but
he did.
yeah.
All right, let's do.
We're an MVP. Hall really good.
Let's do starter, Rico.
Wakefield.
Clem.
Tom Seaver. He had the. Sorry.
Chief.
I'll say Verlander. It's a recent guy.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, it's Verlander, Kershaw, then Clemens from recent guy or like retired guys. Clemens.
Yeah, Clemens was mine.
I didn't even think to add any
Yeah.
current guys. That's how boring these losers are today. But Verlander would have been a good pick, or Kershaw.
Yeah. Slugger, Rico.
Albert Bell.
He is a slugger.
That's a slugger.
Yeah.
That's a slugger.
Slugger.
He could snap a bat like this.
Yep.
Clem.
Also,
Pujols.
What'd you say?
Pujols.
Pujols. Yeah.
yeah.
Chief.
He's what, fourth? Is he fourth all time?
I think so.
Yeah. He's got
He's
700.
got 7. Yeah.
Chief.
I mean, I had Sosa written down. I love Sam.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, of
So
course.
sad.
yeah.
Dave, anyone that hasn't been mentioned?
For slugger,
Yeah, one slugger.
Mantle.
Mantle.
You say Mantle?
Mhm. I just have Poppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mano Mazarin. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hurt, I had
Yeah.
Hurt on there.
Yeah.
I have to give Hurt a shout out.
Manager Rico.
Dusty Baker. By the same rationale of just I need a baseball lifer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yep.
Toothpicks.
He's your answer for today's manager. Well, he retired, right? Did he
Is
retire?
he with the Astros still or no?
Did he retire last year?
I don't know who he's with.
No,
Who
well,
you
he
got?
was with Houston.
No, he retired. He just retired.
Yeah, he just retired. Yeah.
Clem.
They're all gone.
Billy Martin, absolute character.
Yeah.
Chief.
How about Bobby Cox?
Yeah, that is.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
Dave.
I think Rico's a fucking Braves fan.
Yeah,
I
is
swear.
Rico a Braves fan?
Yeah, you're mentioning a lot of
I'm a
Yankees
Yankee
in this
fan.
show.
You're a fucking Braves fan. All right, fair enough. One
Dave?
caused a lot more pain than the fucking other. And it ain't the
Managers,
fucking-
I think we named them all the classics.
I gotta give Tony La Russa a vote.
Yeah, Tony's definitely on there.
I had Tony on there for sure. They mentioned him before though. He's-
If Tony doesn't
poisoned
unretire, he
Yeah.
probably gets drafted.
Yeah,
He probably does.
He probably gets drafted if he doesn't retire.
Yeah.
But he's still got the famous DUI quote.
Yeah.
I got
Hall of Fame,
Hall of Famer, brother.
And he
I'm
just
legit.
is one of these at him. He's got his things on him.
Amazing.
No, it's all good, man. I can drive. I'm a Hall of Famer, brother.
Closer, Rico.
Rob Nen.
Clem.
Shit, I deleted my closers. I don't even know.
It's all
What
right.
about K-Rod?
K-Rod.
K-Rod, I did. I was looking at
K-Rod.
K-Rod.
Do we have? You got any, Chief?
No, Lee Smith, Cubs written down, but like that's like from before my time.
Armando Benitez.
Dave.
Mondo
Yeah.
Benitez.
Bobby
yeah.
Jenks.
Jenks.
Bobby Jenks.
He was awesome for
Yeah.
for a 3-year stretch. He was fucking incredible.
He was.
Ozzy going big. Give me the big fat guy. One of the greatest things ever done.
Great.
I think I like every time the Mets. I think the Mets have needed a manager like every other year for the last like 10 years. I was like, why the fuck are we not interviewing Ozzy Guillen?
Good.
I mean, the Padres interviewed him 2 years ago, was it? Like they're sniffing around still. Maybe he does get another crack. I hope he does.
And I know we're running long on this unmonetized episode, but can I just have one random thing that just popped in my mind? Can we each just throw one random dude that just awesome guy? Just throw them out there.
Yeah, this almost makes me want to do like a beer league softball draft, where like we take.
Can we go 9 rounds? Can we do like a 4-hour draft?
I'm sure we could.
But we should do a 4-hour.
I know a pick that I could argue 1-1 in that draft.
Yeah, don't say it because you know what I mean.
I won't.
It doesn't have
but
to be the
this
best
guy
It's just
defines beer league softball.
Like, yes, that's like.
I have one guy that popped in my head. Can we say it at the same time and see if we're thinking the same guy?
Well, why don't we just do the draft someday?
Well, hold on. I want to do this with Rico right now. On 3, ready? 1, 2.
No, I'm not giving away my pick.
Okay, fine.
My guy that I thought of that I guess I would have chosen a slugger, just Vladdy Guerrero. I fucking love Vladdy Guerrero. He didn't have batting gloves, hitting moonshots, had a cannon of an arm, walked like his leg was like 3 inches shorter than the other, which was always weird.
Talk about
I just love Vladdy
bust.
Guerrero.
His kid kind of sucks.
Is he bad now?
Yeah, he's kind of bad. Like bad.
That sucks.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read them off. Then we'll vote who had the worst one, and we'll get out of here. Chief, Ichiro, Bob Gibson, Ted Williams, Eric Gagne, Jim Leland, Eddie, Barry Bonds, Randy Johnson, Craig Biggio, Trevor Hoffman, Terry Francona, White Sox Dave, Ricky Henderson, Greg Maddux, Mark McGuire, Ozzie Guillen, Dennis Eckersley, Clem, Mariano Rivera, Pete Rose, Sandy Koufax, Tommy Lasorda, Babe Ruth, Rico, Ken Griffey Jr., Pedro Martinez, Jose Reyes, Billy Wagner, Lou Piniella. Write it down, vote them out, lock it in. What we got, Bosco?
I think I went with Dave just because it didn't jump out as much.
Okay. Clem?
I went Chief because I thought there was a little bit of reaches there.
Chief?
I'm going with Bosco basically because of Jose Reyes.
Ooh,
I'm going with Bosco for the exact same reason.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
I got Chief, so that means that the tiebreaker is Rico, so you got to vote for yourself or you got to vote
This
for
is bullshit.
That's the worst. In defense, I'll just make we obviously know who I'm voting, but the defense of Jose Reyes, like Jose Reyes is a leadoff hitter.
No, I get it, and Clem
guy, fucking like just slapping the ball.
If you were like of the 25 names, which one doesn't belong? It would be Jose Reyes.
Yeah.
And if Clem had integrity,
I actually don't vote
Clem,
off the guests. That's kind of what I try to do.
Clem, what do you think? I mean, Jose Reyes and Kenny Lofton, is there that big of a difference? Because that's where I would have gone.
No, I wouldn't have drafted Reyes. I know
Really?
maybe it's from watching him so much I kind of like soured on him by the end, but it's almost hurts his case.
But he was a leadoff hitter in its purest form.
He was. What was his career high in bombs? Like 10 probably?
Yeah, like he was a leadoff hitter. All right, interesting. I should have gone with Kenny Lofton.
I don't think that would have helped.
I have fonder memories of Kenny Lofton.
Yeah.
Last Biggio stat, he's the only MLB player in history to play 162 games or more and never hit into a double play.
Wow.
It's impressive.
Wait, what was it?
He went a full season.
That's like a Jason Stark
playing
stat.
That's
162
crazy.
games
Yeah,
without-
that is oh man, Jason Stark trivia was the fucking best.
Yeah.
He probably still does it. I just
Where he just does it into like his room. Where is Jason Stark?
He was with the company I used to work for.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, boys. Fun as always. Just boys talking ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
I enjoyed that.
That's it. We'll find a day to do the beer league one.
All right.
All right.
I'm definitely down for that. And let me just say too, R.I.P. our boy. I mean, he loved this more than anyone. Stump the Schwab, Ed. I think we can let everyone know. We tweeted at him at one point for him to come on the dozen as like a celeb if we ever needed a celeb guest, and he agreed to it. And it would have been an all-timer. Him versus Frank the Tank would have been an incredible show.
It would have been an all-timer.
Imagine having him on a team.
It'd be sick.
That was what we were going to do. He was going to be our celebrity pro-am guest, and we would have just cleaned up every sports category.
Oh my God.
R.I.P. to the Schwab, man.
Wow.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
All right.
I will see you guys next time.